from now on, you know how it goes. You can't consume anything, okay? Because right now you're being detained.
Wait, what?
Can't consume anything. You're killing me.
Trying.
I can't do FSEs.
Listen, if you blow and you're good, then we're golden.
Yeah.
No, I can't do that.
All right, guys, we're back with another reaction. This is a video from Real World Police. Go check out their channel. Not sure what this is, but we have Shahina and Kelly who are going to watch it along with me. We'll give you our real reactions as we see it. We'll pause and we'll tell you what's right, what's wrong, what's weird, what's strange. That's the fun of this, right? Because a lot of things are strange out there. Let us know what we got right. Let us know what we got wrong in the comments, and thanks for watching.
Hello. Okay. And you are silver car?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If you want to go back over there, I'll come get your info in just a second.
Alright, thank you.
So,
Yeah, reached out for my lighter, slammed into his ass.
cool.
Admission?
Not really.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
Oh, everybody's out.
Yeah, airports.
Oh, no, absolutely.
So, you want me to let him know you found your insurance, see if he wants to do an information exchange?
Christ. That's fine.
Okay. We have a couple options with this. It's really cut and dry. So if you want to just go through insurance, you can. If you want a full-fledged report, we can do that. However you want to go about it.
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
Okay. Can I get your driver's license and if you have your registration as well? And are you the registered owner of the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Did you have any passengers? Okay. Is he still here?
Yeah, he ran over.
Okay, cool. No, we don't take pictures of it because crashes are civil. Yeah, whenever we do any kind of crash reports or anything, unless there's a DUI involved or, you know, like a hit and run or something, a criminal aspect, we don't usually take photos. Sorry, Birdie, he wants the report.
A little weird. I mean, it's not how they handle it here, at least, where it's like, I don't know, do you want me to do it? The officer's like, do you want me to do anything about this?
Yeah, usually the officer dictates how it's going to go. They don't leave it up to the parties.
Yeah.
Right.
But I thought that the person who admitted fault, that his behavior was odd.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Yeah, the
Yep.
admission right off the
Admission,
bat,
right.
saying he's reaching for his lighter, he's swearing.
Yeah.
His speech seemed a little delayed to me. I was wondering in my mind, is this going to be a DUI investigation?
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if there's actually something else going on with the person who got hit. Like there's a passenger, where is he?
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
He's not saying much.
We know something's going on,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
There's always a reason why we're watching these.
exactly right. This is actually one of the most fun parts.
Yeah.
We're like, no idea what's going on. I'm gonna sound like an idiot on camera. But let's start nailing these things down and making guesses here.
Our video guy doesn't usually pick these and then nothing happens.
Yeah, exactly. So we know something's up. It's kind of the same with the officer, though, right? If you're that officer, you get called out, yeah, there's an accident, and you're like, kind of doing what we're doing. Like, guy seems a little weird. What's up with him?
Right.
Why are these cars here? That's unique to accidents. We don't handle a lot of traffic accident cases. An officer has to show up, typically here at least, after the fact. They typically didn't see the accident, and they go, well, that car's facing the wrong direction, and that witness over there stopped and said that they saw this, and the lights over here. I mean, they're piecing it together. For very serious accidents that involve fatalities, very serious personal injury, they go a step further and they have recreation and they have a whole teams that do this. But normally, minus some serious injuries, just a normal patrol officer kind of figuring out what happened and writing some tickets
But
after
I feel
the
like
fact.
the officer said you can leave, and then if you want to stay for a crash report, you can. But I feel like she wasn't really piecing together what exactly happened, like his version of the story that they usually write in the crash report.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she came back to this guy and said that he does want to write a report. She told like the complaining witness that she can't take photos. That
Yeah.
wouldn't be the case here.
That's
I mean,
true, yeah.
here she'd be writing him a ticket for like failure to reduce speed to avoid an accident. She'd be preparing an Illinois crash report.
Yep.
You can absolutely take photos, put it like send it to the prosecutor.
Yep.
That's
You know,
true, yeah.
especially if the damage, like clearly his front end is damaged and the other guy's back end's damaged.
And the airbags are deployed at this point too.
You'd want to know that absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, it's not. I get it. Nobody's hurt now, but you know, somebody could be hurt and sore the next day, or you
Yeah.
know what I mean.
Right.
Or somebody could talk to somebody they know and they could suggest that they go see a doctor or something, you know.
Yep. And in that scenario, you bet your ass you want a police report, right?
That's true.
Otherwise, it's your word versus
His word,
the other
yeah.
person's, right? And there can be medical bills. There's
Right.
absolutely insurance getting.
Yeah, what about just for the insurance? Having the photos and knowing the airbags deployed would be super helpful.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. For a civil suit, if there was one.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's our video, folks. I'm sure nothing else happens after this. All right, we broke it down. Let's see where this goes.
Driver's license.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing the car's registered to you.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you. Give me a second because I'm going to call Priester and see if he needs me to do anything special since it's one of us.
Yep.
Hey, this crash, Birdie, so come work it? Okay. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've worked a crash with one of us in it, so... No, he's not on duty. He's in his POV. But I just didn't want there to be any, like, conflict of interest type issues. Alright, that was it. I just want to make
So
sure.
the person who caused the crash is an off-duty police officer with that same department.
The guy that we were saying was talking a little weird
Right, yeah.
Yeah, right.
This guy.
is an officer.
Yeah, now I'm curious what type of establishments are right here, if there's a bar or...
Good thinking.
Also, I don't think she probably told the complaining witness that this guy's an off-duty officer with her department.
Right.
Might want to get like a sheriff or an ISP trooper involved.
Right.
Right.
Yep. But a different department.
I think she did the right thing to call in and just let them know that this is off duty. I don't know what to do if there's a conflict.
Yeah, true.
So, to cover a track.
Yeah, interesting. Now, the story unfolds.
Walking home, but yep, I'm good.
Alright. Here's that back. Alright, I hope you have a better night.
I tried to.
Are they still in it or no?
Yeah, he's still in it.
Is he really?
So, Birdie, you giving me some indicators?
Oh,
Listen.
shit, woman.
Listen.
What'd he say?
Woman.
This is coming out just to, because I'm not really comfortable with this whole thing at all, but I'm not going to lie to you about it.
Oh no, I don't mean to put you in that Indy. Yep.
Yeah. From now on, you know how it goes. You can't consume anything, okay?
What?
Because right now you're being detained.
Wait, what?
I'm holding on to you because I have a supervisor coming to see if I need to do a full-fledged DUI investigation or not.
I would never do that to you.
Okay. I'm very uncomfortable right now.
And I apologize for putting you in that position.
Okay.
Very slurred speech.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. And I'm going to remain on
Fair enough.
because
He just asked if her body worn cameras on.
integrity.
You know, integrity.
You know you can't smoke right now.
Why?
You can't consume anything.
Why?
Because if I'm going to do a DUI investigation, it impedes it, so you can't consume anything. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm just waiting for Valdez to get here because I'm not going to do this without a supervisor here. And I know you understand why.
100%.
What the f***, man?
Is he gonna do the fields?
Probably.
Is he crying? He totally thought he was getting away scot-free.
That dog. That is a really cute dog.
She wants to do DUI, do it. Not going to put you in that spot, not going to put her in that spot.
723.
She made me aware of who it was.
Go ahead.
So,
Well aware.
okay.
Fair enough.
If we have any spare units,
I will
like you
never
two up here at 600 West, I think it's,
Put anyone in that spot.
3 people from
You already did.
She's absolutely 100% right in what she's doing.
10-4 identification.
Are they still sitting in their car?
Somebody's in the driver's seat.
And are they there because she told them?
You just saw me walk up, so
No,
I really don't know.
I don't know.
I could
If
go
she
ask,
told them,
but
if she told them that I'm law enforcement,
You can't consume anything.
Inability to follow instructions.
Yeah.
trying it.
Come on. So,
What's too late now?
all right. I'm going to check your eyes. Please.
Can you imagine doing a PBT after this and like getting above a .08 result? You as a defense attorney, like she handed you the excuse, right, on a silver platter. Like I told you 4 times you can't consume anything, and then you could argue that whatever he was smoking, because it didn't look like your run-of-the-mill cigarette there.
Right, yeah.
It looked like a clove, kind of.
I don't know if a clove affects a breathalyzer, but
You could argue it.
Argue it,
Yeah.
yeah.
yes. All right, so now we have a DOI investigation. I'm curious if they brought in, they brought backup, but is it from the same department? Right? Or is it-
She said her
Supervisor,
supervisor, so I would say
think same
yes.
department.
okay.
I feel like the supervisor is not telling him what to do. It's only the officer coming back like, hey, you can't consume anything, and you can see her right next to him.
She said that she just didn't want to do it alone, that she wanted somebody there, like,
I get that.
as
Yeah.
like a prover
Proof, yeah.
almost.
Eyewitness.
If you wear them. Keep your head still and follow the stimulus. It's going to be the blue light at the end of this pen. Do not move your head. Do you understand the instructions?
Yes, I do.
Alright. We're going to do the walk and turn now. Alright. You're going to put your left foot.
Also, this is her like colleague, right? She said on video that she feels very uncomfortable. What about her credibility in writing down the indicators of impairment that she sees? Like, is she going to say that she saw all the clues, especially in the eyes where her body-worn camera wasn't showing the eyes?
Yep. And that has to be what this suspect is thinking, right? He's hoping at least, right? That
I don't think he's that smart, but
right.
I could be wrong.
Fine, if he were sober,
Yeah,
or
right.
at least even subconsciously, he's hoping like, I'm gonna get away with this.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
we're buddies.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he might, because she totally could tank this investigation if she wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You could.
sure.
Now you got your supervisor there, and they may not go along with it, but it's possible.
Mhm.
Right, yeah.
Put your right foot in front of it with your right heel touching your left toe, keeping your hands at your side like so.
Leaning. It's leaning.
Okay. All right.
But it's leaning. But
Here,
I'm trying.
let's do it this way. Do not start until I tell you to. Do you understand the directions? When I tell you to begin, you're going to take 9 heel-to-toe steps on the line. You're going to turn around, keeping 1 foot on the line, and return 9 heel-to-toe steps. On the 9th step, you're going to keep the front foot on the line and turn by taking several small steps with the other foot.
Yeah, she could affect her body-worn camera.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're going to take a series of small steps to turn around and return back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Let's play this idea of an officer tanking a DUI.
Right.
investigation.
Even having the clipboard in front of her right now, you can't see if he's in the instruction stance.
Anything weird about that squad?
The fact that it's not facing him, I thought about that too.
Yeah.
Usually they have the body worn camera so you can see them up close, but the squad kind of gives a bird's eye view of the whole.
Further pinned out view. Yes.
Right.
So the squad car, the officer's police cruiser, typically has what we call in-car camera or dash cam, right? That's gonna face out the front of the vehicle. And most officers have a microphone on their uniform, on their lapel or whatever, and those two things sync up. The video from the dash camera, the audio from the officer. In addition to that, many these days have a body-worn camera. We know this one definitely has a body-worn camera. And so typically in a DUI investigation, I literally watched one yesterday where the officer adjusted his squad car, the front of his vehicle faced the area where the person would be doing field sobriety tests. And additionally, that officer then sort of positioned their body so the camera on their chest captured their footsteps and everything else from a much closer view in a different angle. Like on purpose, you could see officers positioning themselves to do that. And you guys have both seen that many times before as well.
For sure. Also, sometimes their partners will purposefully like stand back and position their body worn camera because they don't need to be right up on them. You could also give the instructions a little wrong. You know, she's like, I'm holding this piece of paper and therefore I'm reading, you know, but you could maybe like forget to say to count out loud or
do you understand
something like that, you know?
We might be giving officers both. We might be not giving them enough credit in the sense that like we're assuming that maybe this officer's going to do that, and she may be totally on the up and up. She is the one that decided to pursue the DUI investigation, but we also might be giving them too much credit in the sense that like most officers I see don't even know the standard field sobriety test like we do. Like they wouldn't even know how to cut corners if they wanted to. So
I'm judging her supervisor when she called it in and said, this is one of us, so we have a conflict. The supervisor should have said, absolutely, let me call a different department. Let me call the state police. Let me call the local sheriff.
The next town over even can do a DUI.
Instead of them.
8-9. While walking, watch your feet at all times, keep your arms at your side, and count your steps out loud. Once you begin, do not stop until the test is completed. Do you understand the instructions? You may begin the test.
Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Any other person's getting arrested.
All right, you said any other person's getting arrested. Not at this moment, but you're predicting what will happen next.
After the one leg stand, whether he does the PBT or not, any other person would be arrested for a DUI based on that.
Absolutely agree. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that these standard field sobriety tests are kind of a circus act, and there's a lot of people that can't do them well. That's terrible.
That was terrible.
Right?
It's like the road is leaning.
Minus some medical condition which wasn't mentioned or anything else. I mean, as long as there's other indicators there, which it sounded like he did have open alcohol and everything. Yes, this is that's a terrible performance on the walk and turn test.
That's another good point too. I don't think we heard her ask if he had any like back leg or inner ear. It could have been edited, but maybe she could have some inside information like that she knows that he's injured and didn't ask those questions.
Yeah, totally.
Also the preliminary questions that they ask, like where are you coming from? Did you consume anything? Or the odor of alcohol? Like I smell an odor of alcohol.
How much have you had to drink tonight? What were you drinking? None of that was asked.
Thank you.
Do you want to finish?
He knows he's not doing well.
No.
1, 2, 3.
Now he's just walking. Not even doing that well.
7, 8, 9.
You get him in the back of the car. He's just going to sit himself down.
Please don't walk away. I bring you up. I'm not going to. But I gotta finish.
You know why I don't do DUIs? Why? I can't demonstrate.
I couldn't do these field sobriety tests if I was sober.
I'm going to ask you to do the one leg stand. Okay? You're going to stand with your feet together.
Literally. In uniform?
That's the wrong test. That's the
Starting
last
position.
test. Oh, he's doing it again.
2, 3.
That's what he's doing a lot better on.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's not like the SATs where they just take your best score.
Best of threes.
Exactly.
2.
reminding me of Bambi where she's like
Oh yeah.
shaky. Much better the second time around though.
I'm going to ask you to do the one leg stand.
Absolutely.
So, you're going to stand with your feet together and your arms at your side, like so. Do not begin the test until I tell you to. Do you understand?
I do.
When I tell you to, I want you to raise one leg, either leg you choose, approximately 6 inches off the ground.
Okay.
Foot pointed outward. Keep both legs straight and watch your raised foot.
Okay.
It will look like so. While holding that position, you're going to count out loud 1001, 1002, 1003, and so forth until told to stop.
Okay.
It'll look like this. 1001,
Yep.
1002, 1003.
What's your guess, guys? How many seconds? What's the
Do
count?
you understand
Say
the instructions?
4.
All right.
You may begin the exercise.
2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011.
Oh, we were both wrong, but together we were right.
Almost there.
2014.
Oh my
Oh. He's like, shoot.
So at this time, I'm asking you to come with me to the station to provide a breath sample. And so on.
Yeah.
Resting him.
Also, this pisses me off because if any other suspect like was walking away on their own, they wouldn't just be like, "Come on back here."
That's true.
They would be put in handcuffs, charged with resisting.
She keeps apologizing.
I know.
Yeah.
She's doing her
I get it. Like, you know.
It's awkward,
I know.
but that's why you don't do it yourself.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean,
She could have had the supervisor do it, like so many options.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
but, you know, we halfway through this video, we're like, I don't know. Is she doing the right thing? Turns out, you know, well, first of all, he didn't give her a choice. He did terrible on those fields. She had no choice after that. He, once again, without a doubt, would have been better off refusing those field sobriety tests.
For sure.
yeah.
Also, I just noticed the date. It's like New Year's Eve at like 3 a.m., right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So I wonder if that plays into it at all.
In terms of like having another agency come or something like that.
That or just kind of thinking to yourself, like, it's
Yeah.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, right.
Might have drank something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 in the morning on New Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah, alcohol.
People
maybe
versus
involved.
Ren says we can.
There you go. Well, really? Tell me about that.
People versus Ren says a pretextual stop is
Yeah.
okay. Like, basically, if they didn't have probable cause to pull somebody over because there wasn't a violation of the Illinois Vehicle Code, but the officer could say, like, it was a high crime area or something like
It
that.
was New Year's Eve. Everyone
Yep.
drinks.
Which is BS.
Yeah.
But, and usually it doesn't even come down to it because there's always an Illinois Vehicle Code violation
Yeah.
that you can find.
Or sometimes they could say, like, I thought X, Y, and Z happened
Yeah.
and it really didn't, but, you know, I pulled that person over and then upon investigation, I determined whatever, that there was a gun in plain sight. Like,
Yep.
the officers
yeah.
don't even have to be right.
Nope,
Right.
they just need a reasonable suspicion
Yeah.
that a violation has occurred.
I had a client whose license plate, according to the officer, came back as suspended.
Right.
Even though it was not suspended.
Right.
But he just needed a reason to
Oops.
stop. Yeah.
Yeah, because he put it in wrong, right? That's what he said.
Yeah.
That
It
stood
was
out.
a reasonable, I mean, it's his
Yeah.
error,
Right.
but the argument is it's reasonable. It was his basis for a
Correct.
stop. It's
Yeah.
a good stop.
I just had a case where the guy committed absolutely no traffic violations, pulled into his apartment complex, parked. The officer pulls in, like behind him, but not block him in, doesn't turn on his emergency lights, starts talking to him. Long story short, gets him for a DUI. Our guy gives blood. And I put on a motion to suppress and I lost because there wasn't the Mendenhall factors. Like,
Oh,
there wasn't
yeah.
a bunch of officers there.
The
He
lights
didn't
weren't
activate
on.
his emergency lights. He didn't block him in. So it's like the argument is that our client could have felt free to leave, even though nobody in that position actually would have. If
Yeah.
a police officer's been following you from the street through, this was like a winding apartment complex and is like, hey man, like, what are you doing? Where are you coming from?
Right.
Nobody's going to be like, I'm free to leave. Bye.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep. It's BS. It's a fiction. It's a legal fiction,
right.
but it is the law. And you put that motion on because that was your best shot. Because the guy was driving under the influence, right?
It was the only shot, and the client was happy that we tried. And I think some judges would have seen that the stop was pimpy, as we say.
Yep, pimpy stop.
Yeah, and granted my motion, but I think that the law was on the state side there. Unfortunately, I don't agree with it, but
right, but that is the law.
Mm-hmm.
So the game plan that I have is arriving me, we're going to our station, and Lieutenant Bradford's going to meet us. You got a lot of stuff going on. And so with that being said, there's things that we can do to fix this, buddy.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
That's weird.
Is he crying?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel for him. He's out drinking on New Year's Eve and he's now going to lose his job, but he's just driving.
You're fine. No, absolutely you're fine. I'm sorry. No.
So weird. They're both hugging him.
It's fine. I'm not going to hug you.
Oh, yes, you are, because they're watching.
No.
Yes, you are. They're watching.
Okay. Big brother is watching.
We'll cuff you over by my car.
Yes, you will.
Yes.
They're watching.
Yes.
You've been compliant. Can I at least cuff you in the front?
Yelling at me.
I know. My fault, not yours.
Can I uncuff you now?
Nope.
Why is the suspect dictating the arrest?
I know, it's strange. I mean, I don't know. I get it.
It makes me mad. Like, I get it from the police officer standpoint. It's very awkward that your colleague, they seem like they're friends, whatever. But from, like, if you zoom out, you know what I mean? Like, no other, human beings are treated like this by the police, you know? So it's, like, maddening.
Yep.
Exactly. And how it happened was the sad part. Like, there was a serious accident. His airbags were deployed. So his car was really damaged. I don't know what his injuries were, the complaining witness. But if you look at all of that, I feel like the stop.
It wasn't just, like, improper lane usage or petty speeding or something.
Yeah. Like, hey, sorry, got to do this.
But they're in a parking lot. I know the internet's going to be like, well, he wasn't out on the road, right? Talk to me about that. Can you get a DUI even though you're in the parking lot of some strip mall?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Your license will be suspended.
There you have it.
But I feel like the accident was on the road and they pulled in, but I don't
Maybe.
know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was going to say, I think we are missing some information. I'd be pretty surprised if the accident just happened in that wide open parking lot. That'd be very strange.
Yeah, especially since he was backed into a parking spot that the vehicle was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could have occurred on the road. But, yes, you can get a DUI, at least here in Illinois, on private property. You can get the DUI. Now, you may not get your license suspended here in Illinois for it, but yes, you can absolutely get a DUI on that.
Right. So, yeah, the argument is for the suspension is that the officer had no reasonable grounds to believe he was driving under the influence of alcohol on a public highway. Mm-hmm. So, especially, too, if we don't know how long it took for the officers to arrive, there's open alcohol in the car, you can argue that he got drunk on the private parking lot and not the public highway, and the officer never saw, him driving on the public highway. But it all depends on the circumstantial evidence. Like in this case, if the complaining witness in the accident could say, yes, we were just driving on the public highway, he hit me, we pulled into this parking lot that's immediately adjacent, and the officers were here within 3 minutes, well, then that blows your argument out of the water.
Yep.
Right.
But a lot of times we get the private property argument with, like, slumpers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they could have been drinking in their car, then they got drunk, passed out, fell asleep, and, like, somebody called it in as a concerned citizen. That's more when we see winning a suspension on the private property issue.
But either way, yes, you can get a DUI on that private property.
Correct.
Yes.
More hugging. This is so inappropriate.
Listen, if you blow and you're good,
we'll let you go.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So he just asked the officer to blow for him. We know you can't, sir. You should never have taken the field sobriety test.
You also have nystagmus.
Oh, I know. Well, I'm not saying I haven't been. No, I'm not gonna. I mean, you're doing what you got to do.
Yeah, it's a lot different when they ask you in an interview saying, hey, what would you do if this happened to...
I know. You're kidding. Believe me, so proud. And so sorry.
Yeah, I kind of getting the feeling that he's like her mentor. Maybe
Yeah.
he trained her or something.
Interesting angle, yeah.
Oh, wow. He was double the legal limit.
Yeah.
Yeah, reassigned to administrative duty. I don't know what the, police policies are, but I mean, probably would have had a better argument without a 1.156 breathalyzer that's nearly twice the legal limits. Just leave that unsaid, refuse to blow, don't fall all over the place in the standard field sobriety test. You are still getting charged with a count of driving under the influence with property damage. You're probably still being stripped of your police powers, but at least you didn't give them all this evidence.
And like
Right.
you know better than anybody.
Right, as an officer.
Anybody, I think. I think it's the officers and criminal defense attorneys, right? We
And
are
the
the
judge.
two people that should know not to do the fields and not to blow.
I mean, that there's obviously truth to that as well. So on these videos, we like to give grades for the defendant in particular, right? The guy who was arrested. Let's give this grade as if we had to now go in and represent him. How did he do, in a sense, how did he do it in a way that's going to make our job easier or harder? What do you think?
He would fail in my books. He is not listening to the officer. His speech is slurred. He was asked not to consume anything. Despite that, he still consumed. If it were any other individuals, I think they would be arrested on the spot for not following instructions. He did the field test so awfully that I'm like one of the worst tests I've seen, to be honest. And then he kept doing it, thinking that he would do better the second time or the third time.
Right.
Even though she was ready for one-legged stand, I thought he was going to tip over and fall and hit himself or hurt himself. I think it's enough.
Enough.
I agree, even more so because he's a police officer. Like he knows exactly what the field sobriety tests are looking for. So I'm just like holding him to a higher standard, and he absolutely failed that. We have bad driving, slurred speech, admissions all over the place. Unusual behavior, crying, then laughing, showing her the photo of the dog. The hugging I thought was super inappropriate and weird. Asking her if she'll blow for him. That's clearly a consciousness of guilt. Plus the indicators of impairment on the fields. And then he blows, and he blows almost double the legal limit.
Mm-hmm.
So we have absolutely no defense. There's probable cause to, obviously stop. There's a reason why the officers were there. The DUI investigation's definitely good enough for him to be convicted or found guilty. So
your grade?
F.
I agree with everything you said. I want to just zero in on the will you do the breathalyzer? Will you blow it for me, right? That's not really that relevant to the criminal charge of DUI, but to his police powers it might be.
Yeah.
I could see a board absolutely saying, wait a minute, this is over the line,
A huge
right?
ethical violation.
Huge, right?
You're
Your
putting
credibility's in play now.
Absolutely. You're putting your coworker in a terrible position.
Yes.
Then you're like falsifying a police report, right?
that too,
Is
yeah.
what would have happened.
And like hopefully she would be zeros, right? She's on duty, so she blows zeros, and after you see the fields, you're like, what happened?
Right.
here?
No, she was never going to do
No,
that.
I know, but
yes.
yeah.
But the fact that he's asking her to, basically to commit corruption, fraud, right? I mean, whatever you want to call it.
Perjury.
Perjury, right. File a false police report, falsify evidence.
Obstruction of justice.
Yeah, that's what I was
All
thinking.
those
Yeah.
things he's asking her to do. I think that would be very relevant if, and I don't know the policy, but if that would be very relevant in terms of him getting his police powers back in the future.
Yeah, for the internal investigation as to what disciplinary action they should take. Because it's one thing to understand, although obviously you never want anybody on a police force to be drinking and driving, but everyone's human. People make mistakes. You can get over that more than asking her to kind of turn her camera off or...
Yeah, and then reassigned to administrative duty. So he's at a desk pushing paperwork, right? He can't make arrests. He still maybe work for the police department in some capacity, but in a more administrative capacity. That's typically for a period of time, and then I'm sure there's a process to reinstate that or whatever. Maybe he's ineligible to be reinstated. I don't know. I don't know if I'm in a position to really pass judgment on that.
I mean, he's worked for this police force for 15 years. It seems like he's very well liked. If this is the first mark on his record, like, I can see goodwill. At least he's still employed. He could still feed his family. Like, should his entire life be absolutely decimated over a bad decision?
And there may be ways to earn those police powers back and get them out on the street. And, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know the guy other than standing in this parking lot, right? Which is not the best look for him. All right, so now let's grade the female officer who conducted the DUI investigation and ultimately made the arrest. How did she do in terms of a rock-solid DUI investigation, Shahina?
I know parts of it were cut out, so I'm sure she did a thorough investigation. But from what I've seen, I would give her a B minus-ish. Yeah. Here's the issue. I liked that she called her supervisor just to make sure that there's no conflict. I also liked that she pursued this investigation. She could have given him a break and that was the end of it. I didn't like how she kept hugging him, giving him breaks. Like he's walking away from her, or he does it 3 different times. She doesn't stop him once. Be like, hey, stop. So, and she didn't want to cuff him. And then he's like, cuff him like they're watching.
Right.
So giving all these breaks to him, but not anyone else is something I would deduct points for. But I think she did a good job of following the rules, actually pursuing this DUI investigation.
Fair enough.
I agree. I mean, as far as whether or not she got a rock-solid DUI investigation, I would definitely give her a B. I think that she got everything that she needed for sure to prove him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I do think that she could have turned off her camera and ended the investigation at writing him, a failure to reduce speed ticket, letting the CW go. I thought his behavior was a little weird, but it wasn't so overtly obvious. And then maybe she could have given him a ride home. She didn't do that.
Sure.
So I do give her points for integrity for that. She called her supervisor. I blame the supervisor for not giving her good advice and conflicting them out. And I do think that from what we saw, she didn't do every single field sobriety test pursuant to NHTSA. She didn't ask some
But how many
questions.
officers actually do?
Very, very little.
That's true.
Especially when she was reading from,
Yes.
the clipboard. From, just an overall standpoint, I would give her a C because of what Shahina said. I didn't like the hugging, didn't like that he was afforded a lot of opportunities that, many people are not. Walking away, the handcuffing thing. At least let me handcuff you in front. It's that was so weird.
I know.
Yeah, I didn't like any of that.
Yep.
But I give her points for.
She got it right in the end.
Yeah.
Yep. Overall. Yep. I agree.
Bless you.
I'd say about a C for the same reasons you guys said. That's a fair analysis. All right, guys, another officer's integrity put to the test. An officer arresting another officer is always an interesting thing to watch because there is such a sort of ethical integrity issue here at play. In the end, we think this one did it right. But we also have another video that we did a while back where a police captain gets arrested by his own department. So go check that out. We'll link to it here if you haven't already seen it. And thanks for watching.